Good evening, guys. It is 6:30 on the 1st of August. I'm here. This is the Evan Writer Show. I'm here again with my fantastic friend, compadre, the amazing Majestic Mendez. For today, we are going to be speaking about a topic that to some people, it is a very sensitive topic. So if you are in need of help, please, 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 I encourage you to seek help. Um, for today, we are going to be discussing the impacts of finances and the unfortunate problem that so many people are taking their lives because it's just something that had been happening over the last few months, and the problem is very few people are speaking about it. I saw a story a few days ago where a 34-year-old with three kids, a few hours before he unfortunately took his life, he posted a picture of himself crying. And it's a story after story. I feel like people have to talk about this. So therefore, Mark, if you could just share your input about how do we fix the issue lying at hand and how do we go forward from this?
It is rather unfortunate, and it's a tragedy that good people feel so challenged to the point where they just want to quit the game when their whole lives are ahead of them, no matter what age you are, no matter what generation you're in, whatever generation you're born to. And I feel like the superiors, especially our supers, should understand what it's also like to be someone who's working a 9 to 5, someone who's desperately trying to make money to pay rent. Because a lot of famous people, especially higher ups like supers and every other authoritarian figure, they were once in our position. And the fact that they've forgotten who they were in the past, it not only disgraces humanity and disgraces myself, but it's also a matter of lack of teamwork in humanity, especially when it comes to living together as a civilization, not a society.
That is so well said. Very well said. Now, of course, in terms of inflation and stuff like that, I feel it. All of us are feeling it.
Mm.
And sometimes we as a society, we feel like it's so easy to give up. But I saw a very inspiring video on YouTube. It said, if you're going through the pain, get through it because it's not the end of the world. Because I have a job where I see people dying every day. And I think I have to stop myself. I say the thing that thought was a huge problem, it's actually an inconvenience. And it still hits me today. I see people with all sorts of problems, and it just makes me so humble. So it's all those people who are out there struggling, who will file bankruptcy, who can't put food on the table. You know, it is not the answer to give up because you have such an amazing purpose in this world. And I know firsthand struggling because I'm in debt. I get it. But I keep on pushing myself because I know this is a temporary problem and it will get better. Sure. Yes, go ahead.
The obstacle is the way. There's
Yes.
no other way around the obstacle.
Ooh, I love
Uh,
that.
and thus,
Love that.
you have the entire power inside you to get through those obstacles. And those of you who have obstacles even today, I do apologize for your struggle and your pain. And I wish more people would know your story. And if you are getting help, I'm glad that people are reaching out to you and helping you overcome your obstacles as all humanity should, myself included. I know that there is always light in the end of the tunnel, but we cannot overcome obstacles alone. Even if we may think we can, no one fights alone.
So well said. And that is And our first episode, exactly 7 days ago from today, I was discussing how it's so important to have a support system because, so many people, especially for guys, they think that society, they just put a label on us saying, oh, we can't cry, we can't do this. That is so far from the truth. Do you know how many times I have been in tears? We're human. It's okay to be upset. You are not a burden. You're not alone. Seek help. Yes,
No, like, you can definitely continue what we're saying. I just wanted to speak my truth after your truth.
that's so,
Like
no,
let's saying about
dude,
society.
no,
Continue.
no, it's okay. I'm
Like
good.
sure. All right, good.
Good.
From what I've experienced outside of my own apartment in Brooklyn, that we are overcoming this major societal, or should I say, civilizational obstacle that a lot of people are opening up to one another. That even though there is division, there are still tribes around that have similar mindsets, similar philosophies, especially similar goals. And of course, it's okay to cry. Of course, it's okay to struggle and fall. It ultimately depends on where and who you do it around with. That if you feel safe around people that you love and trust, and especially those who share the same opinions, the same philosophies, and those with the same mindsets, of course, you can definitely break down because that's literally your team around you. No team could ever mock you or tear you down for breaking down on your team. You want who would do that? The enemy.
Oh, that's so,
Only the enemy can tear down you.
that is so well said. And to all the people out there, we can overpower the game. We can overpower them.
Yes, we can. And we are.
We
We
are,
will.
because people are finally seeing all all the insanity that has been just going on for decades. And I'm so happy to see people are starting to realize that that shitty job from 9 to 5, you could do so much better at people, especially for kids are doing it too. It's an amazing thing. And even though all the outlets are saying, oh, it's the end times, people, it's such an amazing thing to see people starting to wake up. It really
No, it absolutely is. And also, I just wish we can see more of that in the US and possibly in other states. And
yes,
of course, this news will not be available via mainstream Fox, New York One News, Channel 11, um, CBS for New York.
yeah,
So you're not going to hear that in any of those channels. So it's best to do your own research as well as looking online where your intuition may take you.
exactly. And to all those who are just, sitting in the dark, it's very important. Okay, for me, if I'm having a bad day, even at my job, I make sure to take care of me. Because if I can't take care of me, how do I support others? Like, I believe it was last Tuesday. I didn't get any sleep the night before. And I'm very happy. I told my job, sorry, guess what? I'm not feeling it today. Do you know that 3 extra hours of sleep? I felt so relieved because one thing I hate is burnout. And I know burnout very well, and it sucks. We we as a society, it's sad how we are slave to a system and we are constantly are striving harder and harder, and we're so focused on a job that God forbid something happens to us, they will replace us like that. And it's sad how society says it's so normal to spend for a college degree, to buy a house you can't afford, to be at a job you hate, to then retire at 65 and enjoy 15 years. That should not be the case.
It shouldn't be any case for anybody that the idea utopian, not dystopian way of human life is, of course, I would definitely say freelancing, and in a sense, trading in your talents to one another to help each other.
Yes.
Yeah, for instance, that I am a really great writer, and I also utilize a lot of art. So what I do is that I freelance for a really great not-for-profit company called Game U, which allows children, teenagers, and young adults how to create their own video games, how to do 3D modeling art. They can also do 2D art, and they also do robotics. And being that I was a student there for
Word. That's
over 2.5 years, pre-COVID and post-COVID, I would definitely say that freelancing for them has been a tremendous experience. How that works is that I do video testimonials for GameU to promote GameU, as well as create PowerPoint presentations for any conference that they need. And we pretty much like negotiate out a payment plan for financial support. And pro tip, don't say you want to get paid. Just
correct.
say financial support, because that way you're humbling yourself in front of the people who want to hire you.
Exactly. First, that is so well said. Because in terms of on a job interview, if you are going firsthand for the money, that looks so tacky. Because
Or it is.
really, and actually, I've actually seen that firsthand. And if you show that you are there to do a service and to help others, they will say, "Wow, this person is actually so different. Maybe I should give him a chance."
And of course, it's quite common for most companies to have humble employees that would even think and say such good things about receiving financial support, because support allows you to be humble and allows the other person to be the good guy and help.
And actually,
It clears up bad karma.
yeah, and actually, that is actually so perfectly said because you know I've been hearing that it's just sad how so many people have to what's called job hopping because with inflation, it's getting at a rate which we haven't seen in 40 years, but salaries have not increased. So if all these jobs are spending thousands of dollars to hire, how come they can't increase the salaries? Because if you take a look at Costco, Costco is the number one I believe it's Costco is the number one store in terms of helping employees in the entire country. I explain to you why. In the 80s, the CEO he made a promise that he would not increase prices. He would not increase prices if there was a increase in employee salaries. And it has stood so tall for the test of time. Because if you notice, all of the Costco's, the employees are so happy. And do you know how hard it is to get a job there? So that says right there that they're doing something right. And every other company should follow suit. Because if you look at all the other stores and chains, they're shutting down. Because they are, instead of focusing on things that aren't important, they should focus on the employees. Because if you focus on employee, they will produce more, which in turn will help to make the company so much more money. And in turn, they will help deliver such better service. So it is a best win for the company and the employees. And you know, in terms of all these jobs today, unfortunately, there is that shortage, and it is putting a strain on supervisors and people that they have to do a job for three people, and it's not fair. Um, so Mark, so how else can we handle this crisis?
I'm not really too sure about inflation, but I can tell you aside, in addition to your conversation about Costco, Costco is definitely doing a lot of things right. So is Trader Joe's. And
Yes.
yep. And so I would definitely say that job hopping isn't really, in my opinion, I don't think job hopping isn't as bad or dangerous as it sounds. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, that most people who have visions and ambitions want a job hop, want a job hop because they feel as though that some jobs would be closer to their goal for
Right.
more experience. Of course, like having a job will definitely bring you experience. However, with Costco's case, it'll definitely make the transition to freelance living and your own financial support a lot easier.
Yeah. And and also, I'm not sure if you know, for Costco, I believe the average store manager he makes over he or she can make over $100,000. That is, and they have fantastic benefits. I'm just saying from experience, but it's all the employees they're very happy. Okay, like if you notice, if you are shopping and you see employee, hey, how are you? They're so happy. That says right there that they are being seen as a human being, not as a slave. In terms of, I've been shopping other stores, and if employee is like on the phone or just type, they're not, you know, um, they're not happy. So it's very important for an employer to ask, is everything okay? How can I help you? It's just those simple questions. It could actually save their life.
It is definitely, it makes a lot of sense that people would definitely be on their phones or slack off whenever they could because they're not too happy with their jobs. Or at least like some people who may not really see themselves like working there for a long time and they want something greater. We all want something greater. So in other words, they would do whatever they can, whatever free time they have to, in a sense, not slack off, but rather envision and do things that are in alignment with their dream.
Yeah,
Like it's pretty much the situation with the dreaming student and the teacher in the school, basically.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Oh wow, that was very well said. Um, so Mark, um, if you could speak to someone right now, and we're just having an off day, and then we're just saying, "Oh, God, this is not me." Who would you say to them?
I wouldn't say anything right at the first glance, but rather continue to listen and then, in a sense, repeat what they said and emphasize.
Very good. And to end for today on an inspiring note, as he said earlier, if you look at all the people who we see today, Steve Harvey, Steve Jobs, all these people, that actually started from nothing, to nothing. And they kept on focusing on the eye of the prize. And despite all the obstacles that came their way, they just went through it like a snowplow. And they didn't listen to the haters. Listen, I tell people, even the family, I told them, I don't care what you say, because I am the master of my fate. And I'm the CEO of Evan. And I will not let anyone tear down my hopes and dreams. Because guess what? You only get one life. And, you know, thank you. Thank you. And it is better to take that risk. Because if you don't, 20 years, you're gonna say, I should have, I could have. So instead of focusing on waiting, start it now. All right, guys.
Yeah.
So again, if you could please, um, put any feedback for any topics that you're asking us to share, please comment, subscribe, or like, and we'll speak to you in 7 days. Right, Mike? Mike.
All right. We'll
Mark.
see you in my
I'm tired. Thank you, buddy. Let me